Hello everyone. Today let's solve the Leetcode problem number 347, top k frequent elements, right? What the question says, given an array nums and an integer k, we have to return the k most frequent elements. You may return the answer in any order. We can return the answer in any order, right? So what the question says is, here if the k is 2, we have to display the number of the most repeated element in the array. Basically, two most repeated elements in the array. Here 1 is repeated 3 times and 2 is repeated twice and 3 is repeated only once, right? So we have to display the most the most repeated number. Two most repeated numbers. First one will be 1 and the second one will be 2, as the 1 is repeated thrice and the 2 is repeated twice. Here within the array we have got 1 and 2. Here in the second example there is only one number and k we have got k equals 1, so the output is 1, right? So what we can do here is, first we can consider the empty object. Basically, why we are considering the empty object? To count the occurrences of the each number, right? We know that the object consists of keys and values. Suppose this is key and this is value. First what we'll do, we'll store the 1. Here we'll store the 1. This one will be key, basically the number. And to store the frequency, what we'll do, when we move to the second one, then we have got the frequency will be 2, right? So, and when the third one will be saying, when we iterate through the third one, then the frequency will be 3. Basically, this will be 3. And 2 will store the 2 in the key. Then the frequency of the 2 will be 2, right? Similarly, then 3, it will be 1. We will just initialize 3 to 1, the frequency of the 3 to 1, because 3 is repeated. 3 is not repeated. Basically, 3 is present only once. So what we can do here, after getting the frequency, what we can do, we can just sort the frequency in the descending order, right? Here we have got this one in the descending order itself. So if we have not got the things in the descending order, what we'll be doing, we'll be sorting the this one frequency in the descending order. According to the value of k, we'll be displaying the keys. In this case, k is given 2, right? K equals 2. So we have to display the first and second key. This one, we have to extract the key from the object. That is nothing but 1 and 2. This one here, we have got 1 and 2. In the second example, we have got 1 only once. We are extracting the key that will be directly 1. It's simple, right? So let's start writing the code. Just give me a second. So initially what I'll do, let's initialize the empty object to count the occurrences of each number. As I said, I'll just give let count equals this one. Next step, we have to iterate through the each number in the nums array, right? We have to iterate through the each number in the nums array, everything. So what I'll do, I'll just make use of the for loop. Let I equals 0, length of the number, and finally increment the I. So next, let's increment the count of the number or initialize it to 1 if it doesn't exist. Nothing but if we find the suppose we have iterated through the first number. We are iterating through the first number. If the same number is present again, then we are just incrementing the number in the value, right? This one will be 2. This one will be 3. The frequency of the 1 will be 3. Basically, here suppose this is not repeated. This is just present once, right? So in this case, we'll just initialize the 3 to the frequency to only 1, right? That's what we'll be doing here. So let me give count of nums of I, count of plus 1 or 1. So finally, we after doing this one, we have to there are two things left. One is we have to sort the frequencies and get the extract the keys according to the k, right? In this case the k is 2. We have to get the most frequently repeated numbers, 2 numbers, right? In this case 1 and 2 will be the answer. So let me give a return. What we are doing here, let's convert the count object to the array of number and frequency pairs, then sort by frequency in the descending order and keep the top k elements. That's what we are doing here. And we'll be making use of object.from entries. Nothing but it converts the sorted array back to an object. Finally, we extract the keys, nothing but the numbers from the top k elements. I'll just explain while writing. It's nothing but object.keys. So here I'll be making use of object.from entries. Finally, object dot entries count sort of a comma b minus k of 1. Nothing but we are sorting in the descending order. So we are slicing from up to k, right? If the k value is 2, we are getting the 2 values, two numbers in the keys, first 2 numbers in the keys, right? If here the k value is 1, we are getting the first number in the key, right? That's what I explained. So I'll just format this one. So this one, what we have written, I'll explain. So in simple terms, what we are doing is we are sorting the frequency of numbers, right? We are sorting the frequency of numbers, then we are extracting the keys, nothing but numbers from the top k elements. That's what we are doing here with the help of object.keys and object.from entries and object.entries. So in simple terms, we are just sorting the frequency and extracting the key, right? These two things we are doing. So the time complexity would be, let me submit this once. Let's see whether this is right or wrong. Missing colon after the argument. What I have done here, let me remove this semicolon. So, object.from entries. This has to be capital E, right? This is fine. Let me submit this again. So yeah, we are good, right? So just give me a second. And the time complexity would be big O of n plus k log k, where big O of n is for counting the elements. We are counting the elements, right? That is, the time complexity for the counting the elements would be big O of n, and big O of n log n for sorting. We are making use of sort here, right? To count the frequency of the numbers accordingly to the k. So for that one, the total time complexity would be big O of n plus k log k, and the space complexity would be big O of n. Why space complexity is big O of n here? We are storing the count object and the array of entries, this one, right? For that reason, the space complexity would be big O of n. So the time complexity would be big O of n plus k log k, and the space complexity would be big O of n. Simple. Yeah. I'll just comment this one. Yeah, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.